So just how good is Captain America Civil War? Well, let's watch a little clip and then talk about it.
All right, I've run out of patience. On to ruse!
Hey everyone.
Okay, this movie is probably one of the best movies I've seen so far this year, and I've seen most of them that have come out. And in March, Batman v Superman came out. In April, The Jungle Book and The Huntsman Winter's War came out. And now, beginning of May, we have Captain America Civil War. Now, Batman v Superman, The Huntsman Winter's War, and Captain America Civil War are more or less the three big battle movies that were to come out during the spring. And Batman v Superman I didn't like due to writing and visuals. Then The Huntsman Winter's War I didn't like due to, again, writing and very bad pacing and directing, but beautiful visuals and beautiful acting. Captain America Civil War, so perfect in almost every way that you need to see it more than once, and that you should go see it now and then come back and watch the review after. And then that way you're completely informed, because I'm going to do some non-spoilers and then I'm going to do some spoilers towards the middle end of the video. This movie, it truly got to me. I saw it at like 10:40, and it was late, but I was so in tune to it that I went to bed like thinking about things I want to see more in the future Marvel movies, including Black Panther, including Doctor Strange, especially Infinity Wars, and especially Thor Ragnarok. So the Russo brothers made this film so spectacularly that it just is amazing to me. I am not a comic book reader. I think I've said that many times. So I don't know how different it is from the source material, but it is so engaging, so visually pleasing, so well acted. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, so perfect, so perfect, that everything about this to me screams perfection. If I had to give it a rating, it would definitely be between an A to an A minus, because there's just one little qualm I have with it, and I'll discuss that very much at the end. But the Russo brothers had a plan, and it worked so well. I feel like they would want to change the title of the movie to Avengers Divided We Fall, because honestly, this is what this movie reminded me of. It was truly an Avengers movie minus Thor, but just the way the story went was spectacular, because it really deals with this conflict of ideals. And I also love the fact that the MCU is so canonical that every movie they reference more or less. So dealing with the results of what happened in Sokovia, of what happened in New York, was really the big issue here. And it's whether or not, the superheroes should be in check. But we pretty much got that from the trailer. And then Iron Man wants to be in check with the government because he feels it's right. He gets more or less guilted into this. And then Captain America doesn't feel it's right because he doesn't want to be used as a weapon of mass destruction. But at the same time, Thor and the Hulk are called weapons of mass destruction, and they're nowhere in sight in this movie. That's one thing I do want to say that I really dislike. So I guess we're going to veer into spoiler territory right now. This movie has no Hulk and no Thor at all. Now, for some reason, I thought in the ending credit scene we would see a little bit of Thor, but that didn't happen. And I was just really expecting just a little cameo of Chris Evans to be completely suppressed by everything and had to have not been able to say anything, and then we would have seen a little cameo, but I guess not. I really like Thor. He's one of my favorite characters, especially at the end of, I believe, Iron Man 3, when we saw Bruce Banner. I thought they were going to show Thor. But other than that, and I'll talk about my other little qualm in a minute. This movie is just so good. From the beginning of it, where we have Scarlet Witch saving Captain America from being blown up, and then causing more people to get killed in Rwanda. I believe it's Rwanda, Wakanda, not Rwanda, where Black Panther is from, and that's what more or less starts this whole embassy, the United Nations, to go after the Avengers, because they're an American company and they really act without limits. They go on their own moral standpoint, and people have died because of what they've done. But and I'm not one to really to share the point of the good of the many, so we can sacrifice that one person. I'm not up for that ideal at all. But the Avengers, they do a lot of good, but they get attacked for any bit of bad that they do, and that's really what happened with Tony and why he went on this whole rampage to get everyone on his side. So the characters that are on his side are Vision, Black Widow. For the moment, Scarlett Johansson is very good at playing Black Widow, but I love how she's able to show off her very conflicted emotions dealing with Tony and Steve, because she's friends with both of them, but at the same time, she chooses Tony because she thinks he's right, for the fact that she thinks that people should be in check. But it's very ironic, as she would be the last person you would expect to want to be in control of the government. War Machine is on Tony's side, and I believe it's the Vision, Black Widow, and War Machine and Iron Man are the big players over with Tony. Then, obviously, Spider-Man 2, and the way that Spider-Man is introduced is so funny, and there's a great ending credits scene with Spider-Man, which I also very much loved. And Black Panther is on Tony's side, but he's on Tony's side for a whole other reason. And what happens is Bucky gets blamed for killing Black Panther's father. And that's what pretty much causes, I have his name, I want to make sure I pronounce it properly, T'Challa. It's what makes T'Challa become the Black Panther. And Chadwick Boseman plays Black Panther very well. Now, I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Black Panther movie, because with Doctor Strange being an origin story and introducing world hopping, and then Thor: The Dark World, the movie after Doctor Strange is Guardians of the Galaxy, which is in space. Thor: The Dark World is way in November of 2017. The next movie to really rectify what happens here is Black Panther, because Black Panther is the only one who is truly involved in all of these incidents. So I'm really curious to see how the Black Panther movie is going to go, especially if it's going to be another team-up movie. And in all honesty, it really has to be. I feel like, we can't do individual superhero movies anymore, because it doesn't make any sense, at least unless it's a full-on origin story. But T'Challa's already been introduced here, so it's like, let's maybe do a little bit of origin in the beginning, and then move on. But anyway, that's a digression from this movie, which is just so good. The visuals, that airport scene is fantastic. So Wanda saves Steve, and after having saved him, she's the one that's pretty much in the public eye. And Elizabeth Olsen plays Wanda so well. I love the visuals of Wanda's powers, and I love how they're explaining her telekinesis. And it's also done so well. Telekinesis all the time, you just kind of wave your hand and it makes a sound effect and stuff moves. Wanda's abilities to move things is very visually beautiful. And I also kind of like how her powers are tied to her emotions at the same time. So, in essence, it comes down to after Bucky gets framed. Oh, sorry. I guess I kind of already talked about this, and I'm ranting, but this movie's so good. So, Wanda's protection of Steve causes a death, which causes the UN to unite against the Avengers. Then Bucky gets framed for killing Black Panther's father, and then it's a hunt for Bucky. They find Bucky, and Tony wants to bring him in. Steve refuses to sign this contract, and then Steve finds Bucky, and then pretty much Steve and Falcon are hiding with Bucky, and then we get to this airport scene where Bucky, Captain America, and his crew. And his crew is also Hawkeye, Ant-Man. Paul Rudd is so great as Ant-Man, and Scarlet Witch is on Steve's side. And they have this great battle. The scene when Ant-Man becomes gigantic is so cool. And then when Tony introduces Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is just so well. Tom Holland, I cannot wait to see Spider-Man Homecoming, because I think Tom Holland was spectacular. He's young, he's funny, his lines were great, he did the role justice. I'm looking forward to seeing. He had great chemistry with both Iron Man and Captain America. And in fact, I hope once the fences are mended, that Spider-Man and Captain America will have some more time together. So, more or less, Ant-Man is able to distract them at this intensive airport fight, and then it. Bucky and Captain America escape because, more or less, there's this, the villain of the film was a victim in the Jacobian incident, and he lost his family, and he wants to have the Avengers destroy each other. So, he ends up framing Bucky, and then that causes the whole rift between Iron Man and Cap. And then the villain is at this new Russian base, which was based upon the Winter Soldiers. He kills all the men that are in these test tubes, and then he reveals to Iron Man that Bucky is the one that killed his parents, which causes the real battle to occur. So there's like two really big battles. There's Captain / Bucky versus Iron Man, and then there's the whole big airport scene where it's truly the Civil War. But again, this movie is really a battle of which side is right, or a battle of ideals as opposed to a real big war. So the scenes when Iron Man and Bucky are fighting, it's crazy because like they're two of Steve's really good friends. It's his past best friend and more or less, in my opinion, his best friend of the present. And when Steve chooses Bucky, I'm like, no, why? They could have come to an impasse, but Tony was so angry that Bucky killed his parents, he just couldn't deal with it. Robert Downey Jr. just played the role so well. He obviously plays the role really well, but like he just played this crazy anger done so well. Also, just to quickly kind of get to the end of it, because I know I've been ranting for a while and just kind of offering my opinions and digesting the film. After the airport scene, all of the people who are on Captain America's side get kidnapped or get abducted or taken into jail. And after Iron Man is defeated by Captain America, and his defeat is so sad, and Tony says, that shield belonged to my father. You can't keep that. It's you're being anti-American. And Captain gives the shield back, and like Tony just gives this look where he's lost his best friend. And then in the end of the movie, Steve gives this letter to Tony pretty much apologizing, wanting to mend the fences, and then he frees his friends from captivity, which is excellent. He's on the government's radar now. Steve is, I guess the government would classify him as a terrorist, which would be kind of unfortunate. But the movie it has beautiful visuals. The two favorite scenes are the airport scene and that scene in Siberia. That was excellent. The interactions between Steve and Tony are amazing. You really can feel the conflict, the frustration. Chris Evans is so talented here. I really wish there was Thor. So now here's my qualm with the film. In the beginning of the movie, when they're at this table discussing the problems with being super, that's the only time they ever discuss it. And then it's an action movie, I get it. But my big issue with it is when they were fighting, they never once talked. They never brought up their issues. Like, it was just punch, bam, bam. And I'm like, talk! You have voices. Like, enunciate your issue. I would have preferred if they somehow could have settled the score, or at least tried to have talked, but I guess it just didn't work. I don't know. There were some scenes where I would have liked a little bit more dialogue, and to make it even more powerful than it already was. But the scenes truly don't need the editing. That's just my minor opinion. So this movie is great. The score, quick note, the score is very powerful. I love it. When I buy this movie on Blu-ray, which I will be doing, I will be buying the soundtrack with it as well, and I will also be buying the art book for this movie so we can get a better inside look. So it's a great movie. Spider-Man's cameo, Ant-Man's cameo was fantastic. I loved seeing Paul Rudd. I loved Tom Holland. I think Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther was great. He didn't really steal the show. He had some really cool scenes. He was obviously against Captain America and Bucky because Bucky was framed, and until Bucky was proven innocent, Black Panther was after him. The idea of having the Avengers destroy themselves from within, it's not what I would call an original idea, but it's a classic idea, and it's very interesting to see them literally disintegrate. An empire, I forget the exact quote, but like an empire destroyed by others can be rebuilt. An empire destroyed by itself cannot. I'm paraphrasing it, but it was a very powerful quote, and it very much was the villain's overall quote, and it worked. So thank you so much for checking out my tangent rant prediction video for Captain America Civil War. I hope you all enjoyed the film. Please share your thoughts below in the comments below. There's another review of it by Joe on the Marvel Nerds, and we'll talk real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.